Okay, Rabbi Isai, we are on air. Uh, so it's been a while. We're doing Megillah Daf tonight, and it's Hashem. We should be able to continue on a regular basis from now on in honor of the new year. So let us begin with the Mishnah and Daf Yud Amud Aleph in Megillah Yerushalmi Halacha Tes Perek Aleph. Ein mitzvah mitzvah zuz shesvarim nichtav michol lashon. There's no difference between tefillin, svarim, and mezuzos. I should say Sefer Torah mezuzos, except if it's svarim written in any language. The tefillin mezuzos ein nichtavim ela b'ashuris. They can only be written in ashuris, which is both the alphabet and the language in Hebrew. Even Sefer Torah can only be written in Greek. They may not be written in any other language. Okay, let's see the Gemara. Above the entire nation, the entire land was one language and one unified mode of speech. Had an argument about that. What does it mean, the one mode of speech? They would speak in all 70 languages, meaning that they did have multiple languages before Midabavel, but they understood everybody else's language. They finished. I don't believe that's in the Bavli, that they did have multiple languages, but they understood everybody else's language. And the other, which is more conventional, Pshat, they said, they spoke in the language of the one of the world, meaning obviously in Lashon HaKodesh. The Lashon HaKodesh, as the Gemara says. Tani Bar Kapora. We learned Brisa Bar Kapora said, Yaft Elokim Yefes, Yesh be always shame. This is a famous drasha, as you can see if you're here using the Vilna Shas. It is also Testament based in the Bavli Megillah. Hashem gave beauty to Yefes, and he will dwell in tents of shame. They speak the language of Greek in the tents of shame, meaning that Greek is an accepted language for Torah content. B'nai Yefes were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Yavan, Tuva, Meshav, Tiras. Who are these people? Who are these people? Gomer is Gramamaya. In the Bible, it says that Gramamaya shall Edom, and the famous, I think it's Hagov Rabbi Yaakov Emden, or the Gra, I forget which one, says Germania, but in any event, Magog, it says here on the beginning of Prime is Gotaya, which perhaps means the Goths. So we have Gomer meaning the, it's also in the manuscript. So perhaps Gomer and Gramamaya. Magog is the Goths, those Germanic people. Madai Kishmua. Madai, as we know, is media. Yavan is Asus. I don't know. I have an Asus computer. I don't know exactly what this means here, but I assume it's some word for Greece. Tuval is Vaitanya. Meshech is Messiah. Tiras. What is that? Rabbi Simon Omer Paras, which we actually is familiar to us from, I believe, the Bavli as well. From Omer Tarka, a different place, wherever that may be, perhaps. B'nai Gomer, Ashkenaz Rifas Sukrama, which are Asya, or Asia, Vadayas, and whatever that is, and Germanica. It sounds like Tugarma is the not Gomer. Okay, a lot of possibilities here, but evidently that would close to Germany that we have. B'nai Yavon, it's interesting that it is in the line with Ashkenaz, but it's not Ashkenaz unless we dash in that line backwards. B'nai Yavon Elisha Tashish Kitim Donanim. Elsteris Avia Vidaradinaya. Esharodi is Rodis. The Setsamari Chametz. Eschamazi Chamas. Ad Lesha, Rabbi Elazar ad Kalara. Yunanbar B'Shalmar, Mikan L'Targum. So what does it mean from here? Here we have a source for Targum. So from all the teams, right here, I'm on the side of Gemara notation. The Pnei Moshe is difficult to understand. The Carbon Ada is complicated. So therefore, it would seem Kipshuto that it means that from all these interpretations of the places which we are giving here, which what business we have given. The Torah did not tell us in modern, so to speak, modern, contemporary. It must be that we have the permission, perhaps even obligation, to interpret whatever we find in the Torah and be metargim it into actual practical or understandable usage. All right, yes, and the base guvrin are base guvrin who came from base. Sorry. The four pleasant languages for the world to use. These are they. Laz, Greek, Lezemer. It's good for song, for I guess for poetry. Romi, Latin, Likraf is good for I would understand it to mean the battle, for battle. However, there are different pshatim here. The Korban Ada says the Karev Halavavos should be very rocky abusing. Latin is the language. Okay, and the name Moses has something similar. The Sharitar explains the crowd is like krova and means to darshan in public. So it's a good language to use in order to address friends, Romans, and countrymen. Frank, sorry, a bit of a cold. Looking at Frank, it says, like I said, Kipshuto, that it's a good language for war and battle. Sursi is good for Elia. Elia is for nations. Ivri Ladibor, he was good for talk. Syrian is a good font for writing. Assyrian is a font which has no language. Hebrew is a language, but it has no font. So they chose for them, which are heavy words. What does it mean? So Rashi says, and the commentator says, so from heaven they chose this, but it seems from the continuation of Yerushalmi that we are going on Ezra. And the Yerushalmi Shita is that we know Yerushalmi Shita is that the Torah was given in the ancient Hebrew script and was changed by Ezra to Ashuris, unlike the Bible Shita, which was given to Ashuris, changed to Hebrew to Ibris, and then changed it back again. Why is this font in which we write this script called Ashuri? It is the most happy in its writing. It's very handsome. It came up with them when they came up from Assyria back there. So at the time of Ezra, it's I'm not sure there's a quote from a pasuk or not, but in any event, Amar Rabbi Levi Hashem she'olah biyadam me'ashur. No, I read that wrong. Sorry, I went back. I got confused because I looked at my screen and looked down again. Okay, let me go back. It's the best in its writing. Period. Rabbi Levi Hashem she'olah biyadam me'ashur, because it came into their head with them from Ashur. Tan Rabbi Yossi Torah Ezra was such a great person that the Torah could have been given on by him. However, nevertheless, it was a Kadmo Dor Moshe. He was preceded by the generation of Moshe. So it's interesting. It's not preceded by Moshe, preceded by the generation of Moshe. I don't know if there's a deal, but it's an interesting way of putting it. Korban Ada exacerbates that a bit by saying Dor Day of the Shishim Ribam Yisrael. It sounds like the generation was what was worthy, not so much Moshe himself, but Moshe's generation made him worthy of receiving the Torah. In theory and prayer, could be Ezra was a greater person, but Moshe, together with generation, they were greater together, and therefore the level of Nevuah was higher, and therefore the suitability for receiving the Torah was higher. However, even though the Torah was not given through Ezra, its writing and its language was given through Ezra. And it says, as this pasuk says in Ezra, it was language which was nishtavon, as Korban says, it was language which was changed during his time. It was changed in written. It was written in Aramaic and translated Aramaic. The local Ksava Lemikre. Now here, let's do Carbonatus, because Carbonatus says first the white line. Kasam Lasham says Vilachi Loka Halein Ksava Likrosa. Abi Shushim Yudim Arbe Baseball Shatzar. Ishtana Shem Lasham Haksab Osayom. It was changed into Aramis, but nevertheless, it is Kasvar as looking Ksava Lemikre. So therefore, although Aramis was given both the Targum and the writing, we use the writing, but the Targum remained Baal Peh, and we still read it in Hebrew in Aramaic letters, and the translation is given in Aramaic separately. Okay, was given. Nachman Omar, I think this is an emphasize that we said before, but Ratz Nitna Torah. The Torah was given in Ratz. Ratz is ancient Hebrew language. Font. Ask Rabbi Yosef. This goes like Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Omer, Rabbi disagrees, and says Ashuris need no Torah. This is like the Bavli. In fact, it says here inside the Chabes, but it's also more on Shabbos. The Torah is given in Ashuris. At some point when they sin, it was changed to Ratz. It's the Korbanei gives two pshat in Lashon Tiratz Oyev. It's like quash into the negative language. It's like an anguished language. Ratz and Tsar being related. So according to Rebbe, it was given in Ashuris, then Ibris, and Ashuris. According to Rabbi Nosson, Rabbi Nachman, Nosson, was given in Ashuris. It was given in Ratz and changed to Ashuris only one. I will also give you a second. The Kassalos Mishnah is also a sefer. So this is talking about when they went back to Yerushalmi, and I'm going to give you back that which was changed. This is right to Rebbe that it was originally Ashuris changed to Hebrew, and now it's changed back to Ashuris. Was given by Ksava Shuri. How do we know that that's the case? Yerushalmi Matayim means where we have plus, which indicates to this. The Vave Hamudim. So it says Vave Hamudim. The pillars based in look like Vavim. If it looks like Vavim, that means that they look like pillars. Like the Vavs look like pillars. And evidently in Ksav Ivris, the Vavs don't look like pillars, but not sure as they do. So therefore, Daim Vav Shel Torah Daim Lamudim, which is in fact the case in Ksav Ashuris. According to people who chose the Torah was given the ancient Hebrew language. Ayin Maisinisim. Ayin was like we write ayin in script, only I think it was sideways. It had a hole. It had a hole in the middle. So in the Luchos, it was a miracle that the ayin stood and the hole didn't fall in. Right? Manam shouldn't in the Torah Samach Maisinisim because Samach is the closed letter in Ashuris. Rabbi Yishem Rabbi Chia Bar Bar Rabbi Simon Train Amim Torah Harishonim. The Torah in the ancient generations. Lo Elohei Shulahem, Lo Mem Shlem Sasum. So I write on the side, Lo Ivanti, I don't understand. Because obviously, hey, was never Sasum, right? Mem, and say the Mem wasn't Sasum, not Spach, was given later on. But, okay, so the Sharatai should change it to Ayin. And he says it's the Torah was not given in ancient Hebrew and was given with Matzapach. That was given Ashuris without the Osiosophios. That's how we changed it, but mice it's a bit difficult way how the hay comes in here. Samach Sasum. The Samach Sasum because they don't have Osiosophios, but Samach is Sasum, even in regular. Svarim are only written in Greek other than Hebrew. But because they checked and they found Shinatari Choli Targin Kotsarka Eliavanis. It can't be translated properly other than in Greek. Burgani Chodlahem Bidalhem here to be acquainted with some service shouters. It's all Latinis. Some guy, some life, was a Burgani, it was like a town watchman or watchman of fruits according to Carbonata. But some lowlife was the guy who created Latin out of Greek. Right? Greek is superior to Latin, and therefore the Torah can only be in Greek, not in Latin. Okay. Said, Tirgin had now, according to he translated non-Aramaic, whoever Aquilas was, not necessarily Unclus. He translated, even Carbonata says Unclus. According to this, there's a translator in Greek. Rabbi Yosef kills himself in Amrulo, and he prays that he faces me. You are the beautiful people. Again, it's not clear whether Aquilas was Unclus. And even if it was Unclus, it's possible if the Greek and then Aramaic. Greek for the kind of the elite, and the Aramaic for the masses. Okay. I'm Rabbi Shimon Levi. Rabbi Yehuda Pasi, Rabbi Shimon Levi. Shoal, he has, or Rabbi Shimon Levi asked, why don't we say yes, it's from Hashem B'tzil Mezuzos? Why don't we say there's another thing about Sfarim which is not applied to the Mezuzos? Shasfarim Nichtavim B'shnei, it says Tapim, Shar changes to a roast, to two or multiple hides. So this is or Echad, that's written in one hide. Hey, so Yitzhak Kisova, Rabbi Yitzhak the scribe, Kisova means the scribe, asked the Rabbah. There is a great question one can ask. Shasfarim nichtavim b'shnei dapim. The Sfarim can written in not just in it's not just question one verse two words, but again, it's trying to so switching dapim here, Torah here, and vice versa, because the greater question. The greater question is Sfarim can written in two. The Talmid Chachamim said in front of Rabbi Mona, "No mardavecha b'shnei oros, lazy the Rabbah." He says, "No, that's not a bigger question because it's possible." Shimon Levi holds that you can make. This is according to Shar Torah Yisrael. It's possible that Shimon Levi holds it's possible to make one daf on two hides, such as if you take a one hide and you glue it immediately next to the second hide below, and in one column. So therefore, it's not a greater question. It's a similar question, but not a greater question, because there are parallel issues. Since you can have one column which goes over two hides, so it's not a greater question. Okay. Amr Chavraya, I'm sorry, right. The Rabbah, it's not a bigger question. Amr alone, she said, no, that's not the thing. He said, my question is a bigger question. She can't have even see if there can be written like that. It's absurd. You never find like one column on two parchments. I don't know if there's ever halacha which appears in the Bavia. It's explicitly not allowed to be this way. What's interesting in Yerushalmi is that one column cannot be written over the course of two parchments, one on top of the other. Okay, Tom is Sfarim. This is total carrots. They're called in English, right? If you forget a letter, so you can make like a carrot and put it on top. I haven't done that in years since nobody handwrites anything anymore. But so I used to have things, so we used to do that. When we used to forget a word, I used to put a carrot and an arrow and say put it on top. So let's see what Torah he says. The ain playing a little bit feeling a little and so this is it's kind of, I'm not sure the inflection is the right way to do it, but the point is that there's another different community between Sfarim and Tzimtzuz. Why is it mentioned on Mishnah? In Sfarim you can do carrots, Tzimtzuz you can't do carrots. Which was in the Torah and Shorishonim in name of the Ran, that totally is puzzle. That this is sorry, this is depends on the matter of right. So if you wrote in a narrow form writing, like some mezuzahs and you have very narrow, microscopic almost writing, like it's usher to make this kind of carrots. So it's an interesting thing because the question what happens with Casidron, which is halacha on tefillin, and mezuzahs, I think also, which does by the Sefer Torah, that you have to write in order. So for some reason, that's not the issue. I don't know why we're not dealing with the Casidron here, but in any event, the Ran's pshat is as good a pshat as we can get. It's very difficult line here, which makes it dependent on the type of writing, not on dependent on the type of thing which is being written. So it depends what type of writing is used, the size of the font, we'd say, or the shape of the font, we'd say in today's lingo. Okay. So again, you can make it. Rabbi Zia b'Shem Rabbi Ami Haya Kosev Eile im the Pnei Moshe says here, it's the fourth one. I'm not sure what that is. Befeirush, whatever. Tes osios. You have to write a daf, a comma with at least 9 letters wide. Which is, I guess, the one that's written in the Torah. I mean, it's Simon Be'ela Teva Shem Ganki Tes osios. Where he said it was like im. Lord, the simon, I guess everybody gave their own simon to indicate that a daf has to be at least 9 letters wide. Wide, of course. Okay. Im Haisa Parshas Yakein Kosher. It comes at least these means according to Mashbiach, it means that just like now you can't write utensils cannot be written in Greek. So today we no longer write Sefer Torah in Greek. That is an archaic halacha which you no longer keep, probably because we don't know exactly how to write them in Greek anymore. The same Shem Rabbi said, Nikam Neka b'yericho. If you have a this is a really new topic. So let's leave here for today. Rabbi Zira as being the beginning of the next daf from here to Hashem. We should do it next week properly, next Sunday after Yom Kippur. Everybody should we should be learn Yerushalmi together throughout the course of the coming year. Have a good night. And